we are now in Venus in the 11th house. This is getting closer and closer to the tail end of things. Venus is at the last brush with all the elements now. She gained and got her diploma in everything fire in the ninth house. In the 10th house, she got her diploma mastery of herself as the planet, as the body of earth, as the divine feminine. Watch that video because there's so much now gets there. And in the 11th house, now she already know fire, earth. In the 11th house, she is attaining mastery in everything air, the how-tos of air, understanding that particular energy completely, fully, full remembrance, full understanding, full retrieval, and full mastery of the air element. Okay, so in the 11th house, the house that is a house that is associated with Aquarius, and is governed by Uranus, and it has an ancient ruler that is Saturn. Okay, so to take it back a little bit, you already see that this is just amplifying as it goes. So as far as air is concerned, when in the first brush with air energy, that was in the 3rd house of Mercury and in Gemini. Okay, there, in terms of connection, expression, and stuff like that, Venus there was just learning to make her sound, was just learning to form her words, was just learning that she has thoughts, was just learning that she could express. The 3rd house is governed by is associated with Gemini. It's that duality, yes, but it's not duality, it's the doubles. It's duality that you have. It's many of the same. It's too similar because it's the twin energy. Gemini is a twin. They have different mind, but it's the same. So from there, to simplify even more, in Gemini, it's like I have 2 hands. Yes, one is a right hand, one is a left hand. They have different strength. You know, I could do different things with them depending on if I'm, how do you call that? People who could do things with the hands, and sometimes you have a dominant hand. Okay, I'm forgetting the word right now. But at the end of the day, they are somewhat identical. It's the identical twins. Okay? And what I could do, I could bring them together. I could grab things, learn information, and start gathering and bring it close for a closer view. And in the second brush, the air Venus had with air was in 7th house. 7th house is associated with Libra and is a Venusian house. It's partnership, marriage, and there she understands balance. There's the other, there's polarity, there's masculine, there's feminine, there's duality of things that are different. Okay, we have 2 people now with different sex, or if it's not different sex, they hold different vibration of the plus and the minus. Okay, and they have different function within those descriptions. Okay, she understands there is good and bad, right or wrong. She understands those were around and that existed. Of course, they had to go to the 8th house to experience them, but there in that air house of in that 7th house of air with Libra, that dawn on Venus, that is there. But then if you think of it that way, that's I have 2 hands and I meet with the other that have 2 hands. That's 4 hands that we could hold each other, and then others and multiple, I could reach out, we could all hold hands together and reach out to each other. I could, well, we're not there yet. Well, that's still when we get to the 11th house. But in Libra, it's the other person that brings now 4 hands that I could reach out and connect. I could hold your hands when we're standing side by side. Okay? And I could hold your hands in front of me. So I'm making connection. Okay? And as far as communication, everything compounded in the 7th house. As far as the air, communication and expression, I have expression that's coming from a different entity that is other, that is different than me. I could compound information, I could compound the experience, I could compound knowledge. And in that same vein, you could see that in the 3rd house with Gemini, because things are too similar and so close, you can bring them close. If as far as sound or whatever, this could be a whisper. In the 7th house, as far as the communication type of expression, this could either be a whisper. I could speak in my house voice. I could yell if you are a certain distance. Someone can say, hey, over there. But you're not too far, and I'm only talking to you. Yeah, you over there. Okay? So, at the very least, you will need a microphone. Alright? So, in the 11th house, Venus now is understand the connection on a greater scale. And a bigger, massive scale. So Venus there is not really thinking about communicating with myself only, or communicating with other as just the one other person as a partner. Venus there is understand communication now, because she understands herself as a web. It's more like a spider with different web connecting everything. And I use the word web and on purpose because I want you to think media. Right? I want you to think media. The 11th house is the house of your social media, your social network. Okay? Everybody you know. That's everyone. That includes your family, your kids, people you work with, everyone, because you already went through the full cycle. That's the 11th house. That's everything, everybody. The connection that you want to have, it's a connection to all of it. And at the same time, you could think also, well, if the 3rd house was a whisper and the 7th house was a microphone, and the 11th house, well, it's a megaphone. Right? And the 3rd house, Venus was learning the, how to form an idea. Oh my God, I have ideas, but I'm still learning that this is something that I can do. I just found out that I have a brain there. So I have multiple ideas, and, I don't necessarily know how to ground them into anything yet, but I know that I could have ideas. I have thoughts. But I'm still in the learning process. Communication is coming at me, and I'm trying to ingest every information that I have. Okay? And that I receive, and I'm hungry for information because there's so much that I don't know. And the 7th house, well, I'm trying to use the information that I have and the knowledge that I have, the minds, thoughts, and idea that I have, and bounce it back to you, the other, who also have a whole new set of ideas, a whole new set of experiences, thoughts, and knowledge. Let's combine them together so we could have a compound effect. So now I know more. My experiences, my knowledge, and everything that I have is times 2. Okay? It's multiplied. It's more. I can have more, do more with the other. In Gemini, you understand that it's like a mega brain. A mega brain. It's a mega brain. It's all the ideas that can be. There's all ideas that every single person and every single thing's entity throughout the world is forming that could be contained within my web. The media. Okay, that's your social, it's a social house. And you could see there, the idea there is really freedom of expression, because I'm embracing all the ideas that are available, and I have newness, new thoughts based of all the availability of ideas that I have. I could still yet found new one and stand as an individual within that web. So there, just like in the air energy of Gemini, wants you to not be sitting on its lap, wants you at a hands, wants you kind of away and stuff, but like not too far. I want to be able to reach out and touch you. We have to stay some kind of connection, maintain some kind of connection. Okay, and the seventh house. Okay, well, I kind of actually want to hold your hands. We're still at a certain distance. You over there, but I'm holding your hands. And the 11th house. Well, I know you're there. You're part of that mega mind, mega brain. We are connected up here. It's a mega brain now. I don't necessarily need you. You could be, because Venus had already attained mastery of in the ninth house, where you could travel. Okay, you could go places. You could go to the distance. You don't need to even be in the same country. I could stay connected with you no matter where you are, because you're part of my web. You're part of this media. And whatever happened, all I have to do is use that mega brain, mega phone to diffuse that information. And the information goes really, really fast and would reach you within seconds, no matter how far you are. If you think of internet, okay, it's as fast as electricity. You send an email from Singapore and somebody get it in France within seconds. You're part of my web of existence. We could still influence each other. The 11th house, that's the house of influence, and influencer. Air still want to move you, want to inspire you, wants to make you move, wants to bring you something fresh and ideas. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of give that little back, with you, so you could have a bigger understanding of what it is when you have Venus in the 11th house. So Venus in the 11th house, the people who are born with Venus in the 7th house and the 11th house, they do not necessarily, you need to set them free. If you're somebody who's jealous, who's possessive, who's trying to grab hold of them, they're gone. They see you as an important cog in the web that I have available to me. You just happen to be the one to hold my heart. But I still want everybody around me. I still want my posse. I still want my friends. That's still important to me. Friendship and love and stuff like doesn't mean I get to be hidden away somewhere with you alone. I still need my network, because you are part of my network. You just hold a different place in there. You still have the different assignment. You do something else for me. I need you in my life because you are an important piece of my network. Okay, so you could see a certain detachment in the way these people love. Okay, they will also not be like, hoovering over you and stuff like that. They're not jealous people. They will award you the freedom. They will give you the freedom that you want to live your life and everything. And because they understand you need to be an individual. Okay, so because you have access to all these brain, you understand in your own way, you gotta stand out as a unique brain. Venus there is not interested in the hive mind. Venus there is no longer interested in being the similar. No, Venus there wants to be the different. You could see in their aesthetic, there's something always a little off-putting about their looks. The way they dress themselves. Their desires sometimes can be quite kinky. It's different. It's otherworldly. Because they're looking from this mega brain. They have mega brain. They have access to a web of thoughts And then they also still find something new, something fresh, something is accessible through a different realm, because they are so close to the 12th house. They're so close to the divine. They're so close yet to the end at the finish line in that wheel. That's 11. There's just one more house left. Okay, so Venus there has already retained mastery and only has to master just one more, which is order. But right now, up to this point, she knows her brain. She knows her uniqueness. She understands her individuality, what she brings to the table that is uniquely hers. These people are very confident. These people, they don't necessarily, they know that the reason why they don't hang on to things is because they have access to many. They have a web, they have a network. So you want to be with them, be with me. But don't try to keep me. Don't try to possess me. Don't try to keep me contained, because I am a web. All right? So they do relationship differently, actually. You know, so they just kind of trust that, you know, if that doesn't work out, there's always something else that could work out, because there's plenty. That there is a very abundant way to see the world in your mind, because there's an infinite amount. They could tap in, and because of so much they have, they could tap into the infinite nature of what's available. They could tap into infinite nature of what you can bring in that is new from the infinite soup of the quantum realm. Okay, because in the 10th house, you're trying to keep things contained, because you realize that you are this round earth, you are this entity contained with itself. You're trying to keep that. But when you step out into the 11th house, you realize you are just one earth. There might be many others. There are many other planets. You're just one of the many. You are just the one of the many. And that one that you are is a unique version, has a unique essence, has a unique vibe and frequency that is uniquely you. So I would say until Venus gets to the 11th house, that's really when, you know, besides everything, that's when it really understands the individualistic nature of herself. Okay, so as far as body is concerned, the 11th house rules the legs, ankle, and blood circulation. So from there, you could see that the legs and stuff is part of the lower half. So everything is more grand, is more connected, because the 9th house was the hip and the thighs, right? So Venus there in the 11th house, you could see as far as the body, it's the whole leg. It's the connection of everything. And also the joints and the bones from the 10th house. Okay, so it's the point, because, you know, the ancient ruler of the 11th house was Saturn. Okay, so I have it all. This is a web, this connection, this connectedness. Okay, and the ankles as well. Okay, still, just like the knees could help you bend and compress, the ankles can help you do that too. Get on your tippy toes, rise and crunch down. Okay, so you could see the last 4 houses of mastery, they kind of build on top of each other. 9, 10, 11. Okay, and you could see the interconnectedness. All right, and the last one is blood circulation. You gotta have a web. If you think of the body, the veins, the different capillaries, you know, the little fine languages, you know, that one email. You think of the little communication, the little networks that happen, blood circulation as a whole. That means the little veins that, and you also see how the 9th house was the arteries, the larger pumps, the larger machineries of how distribution happened. So in the 11th house, you understand more diffusing information. It's that megaphone, mega mind, diffusion of thought, because you have access to all of it, to the meaning of it, to everything that is mind related, that is air related. Okay, so I hope that explain more about Venus and the 11th house in a way that is easy for anyone on any level to understand. Okay, it's not a very sexual sign, and if I go into the mythology of it, Venus was castrated by Saturn. Okay, look into that yourself. Okay, a bit of mythology that gives you a backstory of the nature. It's not somebody who's just sitting there thinking sex all the time. No, they're not very sexual like that. You know, but they want that connection, that stimulation that probably get their juice flowing is how much you could broaden their spectrum, broaden their network. If anything, that the way they love has a very friend energy. You're my friend. It's somewhat asexual. Somewhat asexual. All right. Yeah. So look into that, and you could see why the nuance and the backstory of why it's not necessarily a sexual sign, because when you understand it's ruled by Uranus, and if you understand the story of Uranus, you will see where the rebellion happens. How you would see the rebellious nature and why it's asexual and stuff like that, because it helps you understand Uranus better. Mythology tells a story. Sometimes you have to look into that for a little bit more nuggets, a little bit more information. Okay, that was 11th house. One more to go. I can't believe we've gotten this far. All right, I will talk to you soon when we're going through the 12th house. Bye.